first. It's good that the Albanese government's finally offered asylum to the Iranian footballers branded traitors by the regime, and it's good that we're finally deploying some military assets to the Middle East. But why does the Albanese government always have to be cajoled and bullied into doing the right thing? It highlights just how weak this Prime Minister is, and it makes Australia look weak as well. Here's the Iranian footballers pointedly refusing to sing the national anthem as a protest against the Islamist dictatorship. You want to talk about brave? That is brave. And here's the Iranian state TV calling them traitors.
کسی که یک قدمی علیه کشور تو شرایط جنگی برمی‌داره باید شدیدتر باش برخورد کنه. مثل این ماجرای سرود ملی نخوندن تیم فوتبال زنانمون و اون عکسی که منتشر شده اینا که حالا کاری ندارم با اینها باید شدیدتر برخورد کنیم.
When they've already killed women for not wearing a headscarf, when they say there they need to be treated severely, you can only wonder what that means. Then here's the social media post from Donald Trump issued early this morning demanding that Australia do the right thing by these women at risk of death if they returned home. Now, the US president actually called Anthony Albanese in the middle of the night demanding that something be done. Now, by that stage, it seems, 5 of the Iranians had escaped their handlers at a Gold Coast hotel and were in the custody of the Australian Federal Police. Here is Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke.
Australia has taken the Iranian women's soccer team into our hearts. These women are tremendously popular in Australia, but we realise they are in a terribly difficult situation with the decisions that they're making.
Well, they escaped their handlers. For all of Burke's ebullience, it wasn't that long ago that we had his fellow frontbench colleague Matt Thistlethwaite insisting that nothing extra could be done or would be done to help these women.
They must meet all of the conditions for the visa, and that includes a security check and a health check. So there'll be no special circumstances granted to anyone that's competing in the Asian Women's Cup.
Likewise, it took an official request before Australia sent a plane to assist with defending the Gulf states against incoming Iranian drones and missiles. Gulf states, I might add, that have hosted an Australian military presence at the Al Minhad base in the UAE for decades, a place that we used as a staging post to move troops in and out of Afghanistan and in the war against Islamic State. What we are sending now is only a command and control aircraft. It is one single wedge tail only with its operating personnel, not something that can actually shoot down missiles itself. That job will be left to others. Something that the Prime Minister was again at pains to stress today. God forbid we deploy military assets to do anything remotely warlike, even though the evil Iranian tyranny that sponsored terrorism here in Australia, and that's now indiscriminately attacking its own people and its neighbours, absolutely deserves to be removed.
My government has been clear that we're not taking offensive action against Iran, and we've been clear that we are not deploying Australian troops on the ground.
Now, what's the point of having armed forces if they're not allowed to use lethal force? Our ADF might do humanitarian work on occasion where it's needed, but that's not its primary purpose. Back in 2014, when Islamic State, the terror group, don't forget, the terror group allegedly that inspired the Bondi massacre, was rampaging through Iraq, Australia did not hesitate to send strike fighters to pound enemy positions throughout the war zone. Now, I know because I was there advising the Prime Minister on some of these decisions. Yet Australia now is even worse than the UK's Keir Starmer, who's no Winston Churchill, says Trump. I mean, honestly, this is pathetic. And it confirms what I said last night. We have a government of social justice activists, not the national security warriors that these times demand. No one wants war. But sometimes the alternative to war is surrender or annihilation. Sometimes you have to fight to protect what you have. Now, yes, finally, the Albanese government is doing the right thing, something more than nothing, but as usual, it's too little, too late. Because when it comes to standing up for Australia and Australian values, the Albanese government has never had its heart in it. And as history shows us, weak leaders give us danger, strength gives us peace.